Hello, friends. I'm back for a little bonus footage for this week. Some footage that didn't really fit in with the rest of the video that came out on Thursday. So I decided to just make it a separate video. And it's a little bit more of a personal video, so um, I hope you enjoy. But I did want to share some personal information with you. Well, let's get personal, personal. Okay, I don't know why I am singing today. I don't normally sing, which is probably for everyone's benefit. But I think I mentioned, I'm pretty sure I did, unless it is on the cutting room floor somewhere, that earlier this summer, I talked to my doctor, my GP, about some of my mental health concerns. And she referred me, because of course, insurance, got to have a referral for everything, to a psychiatrist. Yes. I had my appointment with her, a couple of appointments now, a couple follow-ups, started some medication with that doctor. And speaking with her, and her initial diagnosis was that I showed some signs of bipolar. This was not a shock to me or anyone else. I can look back over my life and point out many episodes that would have either been labeled manic or depressed. Lots of those. Lots of dark nights of the soul. Lots of, yeah, bad times. But they have gotten better as I've gotten older and less frequent. So that was my first diagnosis. That was the start of this process. And but she's like, I would like you to have some further testing to either add on or rule out some other neurodivergencies. I was all for it. So I went up to a suburb of Birmingham to meet with this doctor, and we did 4 hours of testing. So earlier this week, I got my test results back. I haven't got the physical copy yet, but I had my appointment with that doctor to go over the results. And they were very interesting. Well, I won't bury the lead here or, make you wait much longer. So her diagnosis was, she did say that there were some signs, indications of some bipolar tendencies. Of course, keep in mind, I have been medicated for the bipolar for close to 2 months now. I think it's been, I'd have to, yeah, because I know I'm on my second refill, almost done with my second refill. So close to 2 months. So I'm like, well, maybe the meds are working and it's not coming through on the testing. Could be. But she's like, anecdotally, definitely had signs of it. And I said, yeah, it's better now that I'm older. Lifestyle's different. All the things. So anyhow, but she said, what is showing is definitely some ADHD, which I kind of suspected, which many of you who have been watching my videos for a while are like, yeah, not a suspicion, a confirmation. She can't keep a straight thought in her head or, remember what I'm doing from 1 minute to the next. Although my memory's pretty good. That was interesting. So what made it interesting, and she's like, well, probably the reason that you have gone 57 years without a diagnosis is because part of the 4 hours of testing, a good portion of, I think the beginning, was a kind of a cognitive test, an IQ test, if you will. To, just because we have to, first of all, we're going to compare you demographically. Middle-aged women, white, college education, etc. But within that group, we also need to be able to compare your results with white, middle-aged, college-educated women with the same IQ. Now, she didn't really use IQ because I don't really think that the neurologists and psychology people are using that term anymore. It's different tests. When I get my paperwork, I'll know a little more. But basically, just for layman's terms, let's use that just to make it understandable. She said, yeah, we want to be able to compare your results with people like yourself so that we know, is this a product of culture or environment, education, etc. And then also intelligence levels. And so it's like, okay, the testing was intense. And actually I came home going, quite mentally fatigued, but also a little impressed with myself at the time. I was like, oh, all those math questions, which weren't paper and pencil math questions. She'd ask a question and I'd have to sit there for a second and kind of do the math in my head and then give her an answer. And she said I was remarkably accurate. And I was like, math has never been my thing. But anyway, back to the results. This is what, I don't know what the word is, shocked me, surprised me. It confirmed also a few suspicions over the years. And I'm not saying this to brag, but it kind of does explain some things. That my intelligence level for, again, I'm just using that, I don't think that's the term she used, but again, just to make things easy to understand, was in, I'm hedging because I just don't know how to process this, was in the superior level. She's like, 90, you're smarter. Again, another word that is, anyway, cognitively, I'm higher than 96 to 98% of the general population. And I was like, oh, well, that's probably why I get so frustrated with stupid people. But again, I'm not saying, well, I am saying, evidently, I am smarter than the average person, which comes as kind of a shock to me. Because I was a good student. I was a really good student in elementary, middle school, and grade school. Was near the top of my class. Always tested well. Got a pretty good ACT and SAT test results. Good enough to get me accepted into anywhere the few colleges that I applied to. Didn't go to, but that's a whole other topic. It has nothing to do with my intelligence or my cognitive abilities. But I struggled a lot in college with a few classes. Economics, for one. Luckily, I for the major I chose, I tested out of math. So maybe I was better at math than I ever gave myself credit for. And anyway, I'm getting in the weeds about the whole thing. But she said, so this is the thing. This is my intelligence level, if you will. This is my operational level. So the gap, even though this operational level is at the high end of average, so therefore this is why it was never noticed from teachers, etc., and parents and other people around me, because even though I'm technically disabled from what my brain wants me to be able to do, and then what my brain allows me to do with the divergence between these two levels. This is how I understood it. If you know more than I do and you can explain it better than I do, get down in the thingamahooties. I don't know if that's a symptom that if I can't think of the word, I make one up. Anyway, comments and explain it better for the rest of us. So this is where my divergence is and where my, I'm voguing. I'm just all over the place. So anyway, I think you can understand where the ADHD came from. So even though I operate at a high average to the rest of the world, I could operate better if things lined up better. And this explains probably the most common comment I ever got on report cards and teacher parent conferences and like big essays and, reports and stuff for school. I'd always get A's or B's, but there would be a comment saying, Beth could do better. She's not operating. She's not working up to her potential. So these teachers, they knew what they were talking about. Shocker, right? We need to give teachers more credit and more money, but that's, again, another topic for another day. So they saw it. They saw that I had the intelligence to do better in class, but I didn't have the give a shit enough to do better in class, or the attention to do better in class. Now remember, I graduated high school in 1985. So the predominance of my formative years in school were in the 70s. And I would say the latter part of my grade school education into high school was, I think, it was ADD back then. And probably prior to that, they just said that that child was hyperactive. I talked too much. I wasn't particularly physically active. I wasn't a fidgety kid necessarily. But can that explain all of the need to do handwork? That if I don't have some knitting or embroidery or crochet or hand stitching of some kind to do, I do get fidgety. So maybe that's a sign. But anyhow, all those years of schooling, they didn't diagnose smart girls as hyperactive or having ADD. Because remember, ADD was attention deficit disorder. And this is the other thing. I've been really good at masking and compensating. And so that's another reason it didn't show up to anybody who gave a shit or could do something about it. And I never really pursued it. But it explains a lot for me, and I'm still processing it. Sometimes I'm, working through something else, getting a little meditative, and another insight comes to me. Like something an event or something that happened in my youth or even more recently, and I'm like, oh, that explains that. And so when I'm hyper-focused on getting a job done, I get it done. But as soon as something distracts me, it takes me off the path or slows me down or, gets in my way, basically, there's a very strong chance that it'll take me a long time to get back on track, to get back to the job and get it done. That's why this room has taken so long to get to this point, is that it just felt like every time I wanted to or was ready to tackle it, some other little side quest would take me down a different path and I wouldn't get back to it. But we're almost there. And so yeah, I just wanted to share that little bit of information with you. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.